I want to actually get into a Jimmy segment if you have time for one more story, Jordan. Do you not?
I got like 7 minutes before my wife screams at me.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Well, let me just play this clip, get your quick reaction, and then you can get out of here. I was just going to say I've been really depressed by the progressive movement in general and the fact that it seems like a lot of people are just giving up on or abandoning Medicare for all. We talked to Vosh recently. He said it was cooked, that we basically should, stop even fighting for it. It's not politically viable anymore. But we all remember Jimmy Dore, force the vote. This guy, he cares about Medicare for all. You guys remember him yelling at politicians for not showing up to their local march for Medicare for all. You remember him scolding the squad members for refusing to protest on behalf of Medicare for all, which, made me super excited to see Jimmy Dore and how he would treat his favorite Democratic candidate, Robert F. Kennedy, on the subject matter of Medicare for all. Let's take a look and see some of that fire that we all know and love and expect from the Jimmy Dore show.
You would guarantee health care for everybody in America?
Well, my best option would be to do that. I don't think that you can do that all at once. And I can tell you this. That is a battle that I think is polarizing, and that is, because the power of the pharmaceutical industry and the power of the medical cartel, that it's just, at this point, it's too much of a heavy lift. So, you're never going to get there. So what I'm going to focus on is things that I can actually do, and not promise people things that I'm not going to be able to do.
What about a public option?
That's what I'm talking about.
Oh, you're talking about that. You could do that. That's what you're saying, but you couldn't.
Well, no, I don't even know if you could get it to a public option at this point with this Congress.
Oh, okay.
But my choice would be to begin with a public option.
He just got put in place so hard. That's embarrassing.
If Medicare for all would take years to work out the kinks to make sure that people like it, that it's popular, that they're doing it right, you need to have a public option during that period anyway. Oh, that's how I do it. I'm not running on that issue because what I'm running on are issues that I think every American is going to be able to get behind.
I'm running on how the Palestinians are criminals and how the Jews are immune to COVID-19. And that's it, Jimmy. That's it.
Didn't Jimmy just do like a rant against Cornel West recently for like not knowing how to?
Oh yeah, he says, does nobody know how to do an adversarial interview? I do. Yeah, apparently not.
Well, I'll tell you what, that he's come a long way from canceling anyone who didn't, tattoo force the vote on their, on their chest, to quickly moving on. How about a public option? Oh, you don't think so? I mean, that is a case study in a fraud. I don't know what other way to put it. He has become so embarrassing to watch, really. And it's, nobody, I mean, his cult will take him seriously, and I'm sure they'll, get mad about me saying this, but you can't take somebody seriously who can dish it and just go scorched earth against anyone. But if his crowd is on, meaning he obviously is foaming at the mouth over RFK's insanity with vaccines and 5G and everything else, and he's clearly catering to RFK's audience and that audience. So he's using, I don't even think he's using kids' gloves. He's no gloves. And he's
Straight
going as soft as silk on him. And it's pathetic. And it's everything he has attacked corporate media for over the years, rightly so, and has attacked others for. And it's not the first time. I mean, he was just slobbering over Tulsi Gabbard over 2020. Wouldn't challenge her on her stupid Australian healthcare plan.
Tiered Medicare plan, whatever the fuck it was.
Yeah. I mean, his followers will never care or see it because it's not an intellectual audience. It's not an intellectual thing. It's a emotional thing. It's a instinctual thing why they follow him. Very similar to Trump. But yeah, he's clearly will not challenge anyone if it could hurt him with his audience. RFK Jr. is establishment. And by the way, he's suddenly anti-war. He was never anti-war. He supported Hillary Clinton 3 times. The old Jimmy, that would have been a non-starter. He as far as I know, never said a bad word about. He was for Iraq, as far as I know. I don't think he's ever denounced droning half the world. He's running against Ukraine because he sees there's a lane for that. As far as I know, he hasn't said how much of the military budget he would cut and how he would do it. And Jimmy clearly, didn't want to ruffle his feathers. But if Jimmy actually means what he says, he would have aggressively challenged him.
Yeah.
Well, then why should people vote for you if you're saying the same thing Hillary Clinton
Right.
said?
And this is supposed to be his wheelhouse. Like, a lot of people, ourselves included, were criticizing him for not pushing back sufficiently or really at all when it came to Israel. But, I guess that's a little bit more of like a complicated foreign policy issue. I understand if people don't have as much of like the context ready to debate on
Jimmy
that.
literally does a show about it.
I know, but I'm just saying, like, Medicare for all is your fucking wheelhouse, bro. You've been talking about that shit since 2015. You know what you're talking about. You know how to give pushback to this fucking asshole who's pretending like we can't have healthcare like every other country does. And for you to just sit there and say, "Oh, okay," absolutely pathetic. Anyway, Jordan,
and by the way, he was reciting a Republican talking point.
Oh,
We'd have to have a public option before to see how, or no, you don't.
But even that's going too far, right?
Right.
So anyway, thank you so much, Jordan, for stopping by. I don't want to get you in any trouble with your wife or whatever, so you can peace out.
Tell her we said hello.
It's because I have to help with the baby, by the way.
Oh yeah, no, I totally understand.
But thank you guys for having me on. As a reminder, we're going back to East Palestine next week, so definitely, if you're not subscribed yet, head over to Status Coup. Subscribe, and if you can support us financially, on the ground reporting is not cheap. So statuscoup.com/join and keep up the TMZ.
Hell yeah,
Shout
Jordan.
out to you, Jordan.
Absolutely. Everyone go support Status Coup. They don't have Jink, shelling out 5 or 6K in order to send them to East Palestine for a week. So it's you guys that got to pick up the bill. Anyway, thank you so much, Jordan. Really appreciate you stopping by. Had a great time chatting.
Thanks, guys.
Peace out.
Cool. Yeah, great chat with Jordan. Yeah, just to, cap that conversation, isn't that just crazy, that clip of Jimmy Dore and RFK? I mean, not only to do that a fucking week after eviscerating Cornel West for not knowing how to do an adversarial interview, but bro, what about force the vote? Do you not? That's where we started a whole YouTube channel. Jimmy Dore fucking castigating politicians for not supporting.
And Ryan
Medicare
Grimm.
for
Do you
all.
remember every fucking day he was putting out like 6 clips about Ryan Grimm? Oh my gosh. This is how you could just tell, dude. Jimmy is like the most pathetic, unserious, unprincipled guy on earth. And the fact that so many of you have signed up for the Latter-day Doorknob Church or whatever the fuck you want to call it, it's just ridiculous. And it's almost your worse than the Fox News people, because at least the Fox News people are blind in their like fucking adulation. Jimmy Dore's crowd, the Latter-day Doorknobs, they love nothing more than to like finger wag and be holier than thou. And it's like, dude, you are literally doing the dumber version of that right now. You don't even have the excuse of it was just on. You actually sought out a guy that was going to actively mislead you, with the most like dramatized, chauvinistic, unhinged behavior possible, with a no fixed principle of any kind of political ideology. Pretty ridiculous, but also a sight to behold, a real like sociological experiment unfolding before our eyes naturally, that I think that somebody is going to do a PhD thesis on someday, I hope, so I can read it.
Yep.